Hi, everybody, and welcome to NFL Picks. This is the show that we are doing to talk about the divisional semifinals. So this week, we have 4 games on the agenda. Next week, we'll have 2 games on the agenda, and then on the 3rd, I think it's the 4th of February now, we will have 1 game on the agenda. That is the Super Bowl. I will cover that in nauseam, as it is from U.S. Bank Stadium in Minnesota. Minneapolis, Minnesota. I've been there. Drove by it on the light rail. Awesome place. Alright, so we're going to give you guys the 4 games that are coming up here. I want to give you a little insight that I did pick Tennessee beating Kansas City, which I won that one. I picked Atlanta beating the Rams, which I won that one. And then I said Buffalo was going to beat Jacksonville. And it was a very, very close game. But Jacksonville won. What can I say? And then I picked Carolina to defeat the Saints. And they didn't. The Saints won, so I went 2-2 on the week. And that's okay. I'm cool with that. Alright, so first game, we're going to go to Saturday first. We have Philadelphia and Atlanta. This is going to be in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You know, the quarterback for Philadelphia, he's out. Falcons are looking good. They play a good game against the Rams. Excuse me, they played the Rams. Now, I got to tell you, folks, I was really paying attention to Atlanta, because we podcasted the whole game live here on thescottshow.com. It was great. So I'm going to pick Atlanta to win this game only because Philadelphia's quarterback is injured. I think that they have a lot to be desired in their game. But we'll just see what happens. I've never been a fan of the Eagles, really. But, you know, if they win, hey, kudos to them. That's all I got to say. But I'm going to pick Atlanta to win. And then we're going to go to, we're going to stay in that area. I find it really hilarious that 3 out of the 4 games are in the deep New England area. So you have Philadelphia, you have New England, and you have Pittsburgh. I'm just mind-blown. But it's New England and Tennessee. Folks, this one, I cannot say I'd be too surprised to see New England win this game. But I would be more excited to see Tennessee win this game. I'm going to pick the Patriots, but I want to see Tennessee win. Just saying. Then we'll go to Sunday. So those are the Saturday games. And if they go the way that they are, Atlanta could travel to Minnesota, or they could travel to New Orleans. And New England would just stay at home and host. If Tennessee wins, then they would go, presumably, to the winner of Jacksonville and Pittsburgh, I would imagine. I think that's the way it would work. So, let's go and see what happens on Sunday. Pittsburgh and Jacksonville. The Steelers are one hell of a team. I like the Steelers. I think that they have an incredible upside. And they only lost to New England in that one game. But it was super close. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh in this. I like Jacksonville. They're kind of a team that surprises me either which way. So, as much as I like Jacksonville, I'm picking Pittsburgh in this one. So the finals in my mind and my picks would be New England and Pittsburgh in a recap of that great football game they had. My hope would be Tennessee-Pittsburgh. I would love to see Tennessee-Jacksonville. I think that'd be great. Any 4 of those matchups would enthuse me. Any 4 in the AFC. As long as the Patriots don't make it to the Super Bowl, I would be okay with that. And then in the last game, it hits me right in the heart, peeps. You got the Minnesota Vikings playing at home. First playoff game in U.S. Bank Stadium against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints already lost in week 1 to the Vikings, so they're looking at revenge. But the Vikings are just looking to win. They're just looking for that win at home. And if they win at home, and if they will already know what happened in every single game. If Atlanta wins on Saturday, they will know that if they play at home the rest of the season. They've got the whole thing straight down the line. That is crazy for me to think about, that in this whole thing, Minnesota could clinch home field advantage to the Super Bowl if Philadelphia loses. That's the ultimate in this game. I cannot pick New Orleans. I can't. I just cannot see them beating Minnesota in Minnesota when Minnesota is looking as good as they are. I'm going to beg Minnesota not to drop the ball on this one, literal. So it will be either Minnesota and Atlanta in Minnesota, or it'll be Minnesota and Philadelphia for the right to play in Minnesota. And just imagine the crowd when you get to Minnesota. Let's say Philadelphia beats Minnesota and you're the Eagles. And you get into that Minnesota crowd that's going to boo the living holy hell out of you because you beat their Vikings. I would not want to be in Philadelphia's shoes either which way. The only way I'd want to be in Philadelphia's shoes is if New Orleans beats Minnesota in Minnesota. It's the only way I'd want to, because it would just be insane. It would be incredibly insane. Atlanta might get booed if they beat Minnesota in Minnesota, but I don't know how bad. But Philadelphia would be crazy booed because they wouldn't have played in Minnesota. They would have played in Philadelphia. So, folks, those are my little NFL picks and my little insight to home field advantage. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I do have to announce, and I think a few people already know this, that we will be calling live the New England-Tennessee game on Saturday night. We are calling that game live under request. I do it for the fans, folks. New England and Tennessee live on the Scott Show. We're going to do half and half. I don't plan on doing Minnesota-New Orleans, but I don't know yet. And if I do Pittsburgh-Jacksonville, that would just be, hey, if we get 20 people, if people want to see this podcast and listen to it, half and half, alternative commentary by yours truly, I will do it if 20 people say so. There you go. So that is the podcast for today. NFL picks. We talk about 4 games for almost as long as it took all season to talk about 16 games. Crazy business. All right, we'll see you guys very soon on the Scott Show. Go check us out for the divisional finals and the picks then. And then, of course, Super Bowl live from Minnesota.